Hello everyone. In this lecture, I'm going to talk about the major challenges facing industrial biotechnology. The industrial biotechnology field is facing several challenges in different area. Okay, so I'll talk about the area and the major challenges associated with that area. Okay, so first challenges in the biomass area. Identifying competitive biomass which are best suited for needs. I mean, we need to identify that biomass which is available and after and which is available and the price is competitive. Okay, so if the price is not competitive, you can never sell it. Okay, you can never use it. Okay, and also it should be available. If anything is not available, definitely it will be costly. Then, conducting life cycle assessment and economic and environmental impact analysis to identify optimal biomass feedstock. Okay, so it's actually not that easy to conduct the life cycle assessment. Assessment means what kind of impact the biomass have on the environment and in the economy in their whole life cycle. Everything has a life cycle, you know that, right? So, I mean, we need to assess the life cycle assessment of that biomass. What kind of impact it's do in the economy and the environment in its whole life cycle, right? Because of based on this assessment, we have to identify the optimal biomass feedstock. Okay, that means we have to identify that biomass which we can use for our which we can use in the industrial biotechnology. Okay, so biomass feedstock. What we understand by biomass feedstock. So if you Google it, actually you will, you will find the info. However, I just tell briefly. Biomass feedstocks can be various types, like the forest product waste, agricultural products, and like this biological part of the sewage waste, paper, cardboard, etc. Okay, and this biomass can be used to produce different products. Like we can produce like maybe biofuel, for example. Okay, then another challenge: the development and optimization of viable processes for the conversion of biomass materials into substrates suitable for fermentation and bio conversion. Okay, I mean, we need to develop the most viable and sustainable process. Okay, by which we'll use this biomass as raw material and will produce our products. Okay, it's actually not that easy. Developing a very efficient process, it's not that easy. Okay, so if we can do that, okay, so okay, let's we identify the biomass. Okay, that we want to use this biomass as a raw material, but then we have to develop the process. Okay, the optimum process. Okay, a viable sustainable process. Okay, otherwise we cannot will never be able to use that biomass. Then the creation of added value for the co and byproducts of bioprocesses to improve the overall economics. Many co-products and byproducts are produced in the process. So we have to find out how we can use this one. Otherwise, those will be just waste. Okay, and waste is not good, right? If we cannot, if we can use the waste, it will be economically very beneficial. Then, the development of bioprocesses based on other alternative feedstocks such as lignin or glycerol for the chemical and energy industries. There are many biomass in this world actually. Which we currently we cannot use because there is no such process in which we can use this biomass as raw material. Okay. So, for example, lignin. So okay, things about this things this way, like how we produce alcohol from the sugar. Like we can produce it from the grapes. We can produce it from sugar cane. Okay, the molasses. Okay. However, all the carbohydrates they're made of sugar, right? Lignin. It's also a carbohydrate. So why we cannot use lignin to produce alcohol? Because lignin is a complex carbohydrate, and till now there is no efficient method, okay, efficient process which convert the lignin to alcohol, okay, in a cost effective way. Okay, so we have to develop such bioprocesses, okay, in which we can use alternative biomass feed, okay, biomass feed stocks, okay, such as we can use lignin as a biomass feed stock, okay. Then the development of a closed loop fermentation cycle where the biowaste of one process can be recycled as input for another process. I mean, waste product from one process will be used as raw materials in another process. Okay, so if we can do this, it will be it will be economically beneficial, and as well as it will be environmentally beneficial. Okay, so that means if we can do this, we can achieve we can make a sustainable process. Okay, why it will be sustainable? Because it will be both beneficial for the economy and the environment. Okay, then challenges the industrial biotechnology field is facing in another area. In which area? In the bioprocess and bioproducts area. So let's talk about the challenges. The development of innovative bioproducts with new application and properties. I mean, we have to develop new bioproducts which has new applications or properties. Okay, so I mean, innovation is important. If we can innovate new things, we cannot sustain in the market. Okay, the development of new bioproducts with higher performance in existing application. This is very important. In the industry, I think most important. I think for the industry, most important thing is cost. Okay, your product must have to be cost effective. Okay, and also the performance of the product should be higher. I mean, doesn't matter how eco-friendly the product is. Okay, I mean, people try to argue that this product is eco-friendly, is easy. Okay, but industry is a different thing, right? Just if the product, okay, if the product may be eco-friendly, but if the product is not cheap, okay, if the product is more costly than the existing product, okay, or if the product, if the performance of that product is not better than the existing product, then why people will use it, right? So just telling eco-friendly is not good enough. It should have higher performance, and also it should be cheap than the existing one. Then the development of novel processes, bioreactors and bioreactor operating strategies together with novel downstream processing. Okay. So actually, we have to, in short, we need to develop more efficient downstream processing. Okay. Then the development of models to predict cellular functioning under industrial production conditions. Okay. This is actually related with the research area. There is no models or simulation thing where we can test our cellular processes. Okay, because say for example, you want to develop a fermentation process using a biocatalyst, or say you want to develop a bioprocess using a microorganisms. So you have to do all these experiments like the uh, screening, scaling up. So these things are costly, right? So if there was any simulator, okay, any simulation program where we can check, what will be the cellular function of these microorganisms if we used it in the fermenter, that would be great, right? We don't have to do the real experiments. Definitely, we must have to do the real experiment. But before going to the real experiment, if there was, any simulation thing, we could at least get some idea, right? And if, I mean, in that case, like suppose if we see that the our isolated microorganisms, each function very bad in the simulation, maybe we will not use that one. Okay, it will save us money. Okay, now major challenges in the biofuels area. Okay, so the development of optimal enzymes and robust fermentation systems. I mean, we have to develop a robust fermentation system. Okay, such as, I mean, in I think in another slide I talked about the lignin thing. Okay, so actually, there are microorganisms, like for example thermophilic microorganisms and also enzymes, which are capable to convert lignocellulose directly and fermenting it to produce ethanol or other higher alcohols. It's great, right? There are already microorganisms and enzymes who can convert the lignocellulose into alcohol. Then why we are not using it in industry? Because there is no good fermentation system there. So if we can develop a good robust fermentation system for this, then we can use the lignocellulose to produce alcohol. Okay, and alcohol has, I mean, alcohol is not only a beverage. Okay, alcohol has many industrial applications. Alcohol, I mean, ethanol can be used as biofuels to run the car, right? To make energy. Then making these technologies cost effective. I mean, we may develop technologies, and also there are many existing technologies. These technologies should be cost effective if they want to sustain in the economy. Okay, costly processes or costly technologies, they cannot actually prevail. Okay, utilization of waste fats and side streams of the edible oil processing industry as raw material for biodiesel and bulk product bulk production. Okay, I mean, uh, in the edible oil processing, it produces some raw materials. Okay, so if we can use those raw materials for biofuel production, okay, that will be great. Analysis of the potential to produce biodiesel economically with biotechnological methods based on methanol or bioethanol. It's related with the biodiesel. Okay, and then identification, evaluation, and production of other potential liquid fuels. I mean, people always talk about the biofuel things, but there are also some. I mean, there are many liquids which are commercially important. Okay, so if we can develop process to produce those liquids, okay, that will be good. Anyway, I want to add here one thing. So, I mean, we talked. I mean, this slide in this slides, the biofuel words has been repeated many times, right? However, you know, did you notice that people don't talk about the biodiesel or biofuel that much nowadays, right? So, like just few years back, biofuel was a frequently talked word. Okay, but nowadays people, I mean, don't talk much. I mean, actually nowadays, I don't hear the biofuel even. I mean, I don't know. I forgot when I last time I heard the biodiesel or biofuel word. Can you guess why? I think one main reason is because of the evolution of electric car. I mean, just few years back, I mean, people only used to think about the, I mean, fuel driven car, like the diesel or petrol driven car. So as the fuels, like the petrols or octanes, those are fossil fuel, and fossil fuel was getting depleted. Okay, so people are concerned that we should, we should, have another source of fuel that we can use in our car. Okay, so that's why biofuel was a good option for this one. I mean, the fossil fuel, they are getting depleted. So if biofuel could be developed, I mean, we can run the car by the biofuel. But as electric cars is getting more famous, right? Many, almost all the famous car maker, they are nowadays making electric car. Okay, those electric car are good looking one, and also the performance is very good. So if electric cars, get available all over the world, we don't need diesel, right? Because electric cars run by electricity, and there are many ways to produce electricity. We can use, many electricity generating company, they use fossil fuels to generate electricity, but there are other ways to generate electricity, right? We don't have to use the fossil fuels to generate the use electricity always. So we also have to keep these things in mind. I mean, the world changes, and along with it, the notion and understanding, the vision changes. Okay, so we also have to be concerned about these things, that in which direction is the world is going. Okay, so suppose maybe one product, it may be like that. People are thinking of one product which has high demand in this world. Okay, so the biotechnologists, they may think to develop process to produce that product using the biotechnology, but it may happen. After a few years, maybe people will not need this product anymore. Okay, so the technologists, especially the biotechnologists, they have to keep it in their mind. Developing biotechnological processes are costly. Okay, so maybe a biotechnologist will spend his whole life to develop a process, and after he is successful in developing the process, he may find out that, okay, no one needs this product now. Okay, there is an better alternative. Anyway, bad things can happen, but it doesn't mean that. So as bad things can happen, we will not do anything. Okay, okay. Bad things can happen anytime. So we have to keep faith in the luck also. Anyway, in this slide, okay, we are done with the major challenges that the industrial biotechnology field is facing. In this final slide, I'll talk about the manufacturing cost in bioprocess industry. So, which are the area which contributes in the manufacturing cost? Actually, every steps involved in the process, they contribute into the cost, right? Such as the research and development, raw materials, bioreactor operation, downstream processing. All these things, they contribute to the cost. So how we can minimize the cost? Okay, so if we can do something here which will reduce the cost. Okay, so what we can do, like in case of research and development, for the if we want to develop a process for fermentation or bioprocess, a scale up is an important step. Okay, we need to, first we develop the process in the lab in very small scale, then we need to scale it up, okay, to use it in the industry level. Scaling up is a costly thing because it takes time. So if we can maximize the speed of scale up, okay, it will save us money, right? It will be more cost effective. And also other things can be done to minimize the cost, such as maximize productivity of reactor operation, minimize contamination risk. Okay, and in case of raw materials, if we can maximize substrate conversion and maximize product yield, definitely it will save us money, right? Because we know that, I mean, in the fermentation process, we use raw materials to produce our product, but all the raw materials, they never converts into the products. Okay, that's true, right? 100% raw materials are never converted into the products. Okay, so now if we can increase this thing, if we can maximize the substrate conversion, okay, it will be more cost effective. Okay, and also if we can maximize substrate conversion, production yield will automatically increase. Okay, then bioreactor operation. Okay, so how we can minimize cost in this step, maximize volumetric productivity to minimize reactor size. Okay, I mean uh, will maximize the volumetric productivity. That means in less volume we will produce more product. Then how we can achieve this one? Maximize volumetric productivity by maximizing catalyst concentration, maximizing specificity, productivity, and product yield. Okay, and we can do this by optimizing the reactor conditions. Okay, and also strain improvement, media optimization. These will also help to maximize the productivity. Okay, then finally, how we can reduce the cost in downstream processing by maximizing product concentration. Okay, leaving the reactor. I mean, in the downstream process, I mean, after the fermentation is fermentation of the bias process is done, we harvest everything, right? We harvest the spent media which contain the products and the cells. Okay, so if we can maximize the product concentration, okay, in that spent media, definitely the cost will be minimized. Like suppose think this way, I mean, we are, I mean, we got 1,000 liter. Okay, let's suppose we got 100,000 liter of spent media, and there is 10,000 liter product. So now, if we can increase the concentration from 10,000 to like 30,000, definitely it will save us money, right? In that case, we will deal with 100,000 liter, but we will get 30,000 liter instead of 10,000 liter. Definitely, it will be cost effective. Okay, so that's all for this lecture. Thank you for your patience.